Right, good morning to all of you. And at the outset, let me thank the organizers for inviting me to chair this panel discussion. And I'm really delighted to have experts in this panel from where maybe that, we can learn and mutually we can learn and throw some lights on a very important topic. Now, uh, according to me, healthcare is the lowest hanging fruit all over the world for any government which is there. And there's enough of discussion which goes on, both positive and negative, and everybody tries to highlight that, we are doing the maximum possible in the area of healthcare, and which is there. But what is more important is it just healthcare or is it sustainable healthcare? And according to me, and as per the previous panel discussion also, I think the most important factor is not healthcare alone, but is a sustainable healthcare. And if you have to go for a sustainable healthcare, it has to be collaborative. It cannot be a standalone thing, and it has to be collaborative. And this panel would really dwell upon one of the verticals and elements of a sustainable healthcare, and that is the pharmaceutical industry, which contributes significantly towards the healthcare and well-being of the patients in terms of access, in terms of diagnosis, and in terms of treatment. So I would start the conversation first with you, Manoj, and so to me, like, how does the quality unit contribute to sustainable pharma R&D and the business?
Right. So quality is an integral part of every business, I believe, and everybody sitting here will agree to us. But how many understand quality? Can anybody define? May I ask a question to the audience? How many people are working for quality in the audience? No one? Great, great, sir. Thank you very much. So this is the mindset that everybody works as per their departmental objectives. But no one has a universal kind of thought process or theory that ultimately I have to deliver quality. So just to begin with, I will define quality in simple words. So when we talk quality in any segment, any domain, it's basically what we deliver, that is the specification. That is the first and foremost parameter, that we have to comply with the specification of the particular object. The second one is the performance. And third one comes with the customer expectations. So for me, quality is togetherness of all these three parameters, compiling your specification, complying to your specification, having the same performance throughout the years, and meeting the customer expectations consistently. And to deliver this goal, yes, one has to be really prove that they are sustainable. Now, who knows Amitabh Bachchan, or who don't know Amitabh Bachchan here? Everybody knows, like, he is a quite old veteran from the film industry. But why he is still there? He is almost, I think, somewhere around 80 plus, or somewhere around 80 years of old. So why he is there? Because of continuous innovation. Whatever he does, his performance, nobody doubts about it. He is the best in the class. But he changes. At the beginning, he started with few roles which were not really justifying his character. But then he got the clue as Angry Young Man, and then he thrived throughout that process, changed himself to some different roles and these stories, and now you can see where he is. So that is kind of an example how to sustain in any business, basically. And second part of sustainability is continuous improvement. When I talk about innovation, continuous improvement is the second pillar of it, right? And how to achieve it, basically. So what are the variables which affect any business? So these are, from my perspective, those parameters or variables are man, material, machine, method, and the milieu. It's the 5M concept which you need to control, or it's a kind of variables which you need to control. Now, what you need to do with these particular variables then? You have to simply apply a kind of term which I define IST. It's not Indian Standard Time. It's identification, specification, and the traceability. So once you apply these three kind of evaluations or checks to these 5 variables, you will become a sustainable business unit. I will just quote here one example. What innovation and continuous improvement means. It is nothing to be a kind of a bigger thing or bigger part of your process. So in pharma, and I think in every process, we use balances, right? And we have to calibrate it as a daily process. So at every morning, the person who is nominated goes to that particular unit, and a calibration is done over a range of units. So what the person does is, if the balance is having, say, 100 kilogram capacity, it calibrates, say, using, say, the least count, say, suppose it is 500 gram, then is a middle one, that is, say, 2 kg, and the 5 kg. So it has to be calibrated using the different range of weights. Now what happens if you use only one weight, which is the least one? So this concept is something called as reducing the redundancy, right? So the person who is doing calibration over a range and a person who is doing a calibration using only minimum weight, what is the difference? We are removing some practices which are not really required, and when I am confirming that the balance is working on the lowest or giving me the right weight on the lowest weight which I am using, that I can declare the balance is really calibrated. So this is one part of it, that how you remove the redundancy. I will quote another example if the time permits. I was in a bank actually, and I have to what they call that's customer identification. So I submitted all my documents and Aadhaar card, everything. The process was done, and the officer told me that you have to withdraw money. Unless you withdraw money from your account, the process won't be complete. I asked why? Why should I do that? I am present in person here. You have all my documents. I have done the entire process. Now how the purpose will be served with that particular step? So he was having no answer. I checked with the manager. Being in quality, I am always inquisitive to check the purposes behind the process. So I reached up to the manager. I checked with him as well. And he said, no sir, we don't know why we are doing this. And you sitting in audience can tell me, is this process does serve any purpose? It doesn't actually. So this is what we call it redundancy. If you eliminate such redundancy in your processes, your business will become more sustainable, because at the end, what is business? It's the set of processes, right? So you have to do it correct. Thank you.
Thanks, Manoj, for your comments. Neeraj, one of the things is what innovative solutions can be taken for unmet patient needs, like novel drug delivery system, drug therapies, and doing all these things by ensuring that there are conforming to environmental standards.
Good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon, sir. First of all, a little brief comment on the quality thing, taking a leaf from what he said. So in my earlier company that I was working, I had the chance of meeting one of the US drug inspectors, and I spoke to him about quality and other stuff, and I asked him what quality exactly means to you. So quality for an Indian is, as far as medicine is concerned, that it should work, it should treat the patient. But he gave me a very eye-opening remark. He said quality to them was that if the medicine says X, Y, Z, in terms of how it has been formulated, it should be formulated like that. Number two, the medicine should reach in the targeted area the way it is written. If it is not, then it is not quality. Number three, that it should do exactly the same behavior the way it is prescribed for. If it is not, then it is not quality. And number four, the outcomes of any side effects, if it is mentioned, it should do exactly that. Even if side effects are not conforming to the guideline, then also it's not quality. So that's what quality is all about, and I think since you are all young audience, you should be aware of this fact going forward to take it in your various things which you are planning to do. Now, I worked in different organizations, and I've been always a sales and marketing person, so largely worked with Abbott and Sun, Ranbaxy, and all of those companies. So I would like to give you an example of Abbott that I worked, because that generally helps audience understand. So you people must be knowing about continuous glucose monitoring system, and you must have heard a product from Abbott called as Libre. It's the world's largest selling CGM in the world. It sells almost like 6 million units. So it's to that extent big. Then I was working, but of course I was not working now, but I decided to cross-check what innovation they have done to make sure that there is sustainability in every aspect what they are trying to do. And since I spoke yesterday, I came with certain data facts, and I thought that I should share with you. So Freestyle Libre is a glucometer which actually they decided to launch some time back, but they decided that going forward they have to continuously innovate, which can help them reduce plastic, which can help them reduce carton paper, which can help them reduce carbon emission. And in fact, the last panel, and Sir also spoke about all of this, that we have to take a note of all this and do something about it. And over a period of time, they took a target of 50% reduction in all of this. And yesterday when I was talking to my earlier Abbott colleague with whom I worked, he told me some very astonishing facts. This product is manufactured in Whitney, one of the plant in London, and they have a zero this thing to wastage. In fact, what they do is whatever is the wastage which comes in the plant and it goes up to the pantry, they make sure that it is recycled. So there is a zero wastage. Not just that, they have been able to reduce plastic to the extent of 41%. The target was 50, but they have done 41% because of that sensor which they have now brought, which is less volume and it is therefore effective. 43% less carton paper and 20% reduction in carbon emission. So companies are trying to do this by making sure that while they are innovative in their approach, they are also able to give this sustainability, so that for the humans going forward, things are much easier. So this is the example I thought I should give it to you. And of course, it has also led to less of water usage and reductions in wastages which generally happen. But I also want to give you now an example, and this is related to my present company where I'm working, British Biologicals. Now, British Biologicals is only into powdered nutrition. Now, for people who understand nutrition, I want to tell you, nutrition has 3 arms to it. One is powdered nutrition. You have heard of all Horlicks and Bonvitas to, Ensure and all of that from Abbott. And then you have vitamins and minerals. And the third arm is where you have injectable vitamins which are served in hospitals. So my MD, who is also the owner, he was wanting to make the factory future ready. One of the things we decided therefore to look at is how we can do it. And we had to do therefore life cycle analysis of it. Now, when we decided to do the life cycle analysis of the plant that we were working with and we were producing goods, which is powdered nutrition, we saw a lot of cost. And cost is something which actually bugs a businessman. So we had to fine tune something else, and that is where we decided to have a new nutraceutical company, a factory, plant, which today boasts to produce almost 15 lakh units per day. And the best part is that we have made it AI enabled, robotic plant. So what it does to us is, with this small innovation, or largely which is being spoken about, which we have already incorporated, it helps us to know what is the problem in advance so we can fix it. B, it helps us to do analytics so that we are able to customize the inventories, which is largely a big problem. Being in sales and marketing, I know how inventories bug you. And they also will know and understand, some of you as well, that when you have huge expiries, breakages, not just at the back front in the plant, but also at the forefront in the market, it actually takes a lot of profitability. So we have improved operational efficiency because of that to the extent of 4.5% as of record that I'm talking about. And not just that, we have also decided to reduce less of paper and cardboard usage. So we have also spoken to our vendors that, to the plant, whatever comes, it comes in biodegradable materials. We know that now polylactic acid is used as a good biodegradable material, which is sourced from plants and not from fossils. So all of this is done, and that possibly helps our way of planning innovation in a way which it provides access and sustainability to better care. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Neeraj, for and particularly with the examples that you enumerated. Manoj, I would request you, if you can throw some light on what strategies do you suggest to MSMEs to move up the value ladder in the era of research and innovation?
So when we are talking about innovation or research, in the earlier segment, I spoke about a different kind of innovation, about removing the redundancy. But now, as he is also pointing out, AI is something which is taking over now. And we spoke in the past about process analytical technology and all. So really, if we have to innovate and improve, we have to see how we can improve on the processes. Like in pharmaceutical sector, we have, or in any sector, people collect a lot of data. And how to use let me put one example here. Like when we were working for operational excellence, and so it's part of the continuous improvement. We just gathered data on a cleaning of one machine. Now when we saw that data, we saw that there are variable time frames in which the operators have done the job. So when you see that from 1 hour to 3 hours is the range of operation, how you can minimize that operation, what best is done by operator A, and how the operator C performance can be improved then. So this is something we call it as, because research in pharma world is very rare now. There are very few NCs coming in. So what we are doing is all generics, right? So we have very less scope on innovation, but we can innovate on the process part, we can innovate on our people part. And as he rightly suggested on robotics, that is another advantage we can see, where the processes are kind of skilled processes, because a lot of modern technology is coming in. Instead of fluidized bed dryer, now we have fluidized bed processor. So everything can be processed in one unit. So that technology is really complex. But harnessing such technology, we need to have skilled manpower also. So as I spoke from the variables point of view, we have to really see that the variables are controlled in the view of the process input, and the manpower is the key, which we really need to monitor for the skills which they need to possess to deliver the job.
Thanks, Manoj. I would just like to add a couple of things, particularly when it comes to the MSMEs. And this is which is very contemporary in the pharmaceutical world, and that is on Schedule M. And there's a lot of things which are being spoken about on Schedule M, and the industry has, I feel bad that today the industry is asking for time to implement Schedule M. Just to throw some light on that Schedule M is, It's some of the basic necessities which are there. And particularly in pharma, when we are, touching lives of people, when we are dealing with the lives of people, I don't think that we can compromise, and we cannot have the license to compromise on certain basic quality necessities which are there, because that can impact not only the efficacy but also the safety of it. So that's something which I would really, keep on. I have been talking on the Schedule M. I have been on the social media also with the Pharma State Academy, and talking about that Schedule M is something where we need to be more proactive. MSMEs need to be more proactive. And one of the changes which is required in the mindset of everyone in the pharma industry, whether it is the MSME or whether it's the other organizations, the bigger organizations, and in totality to the healthcare, total healthcare, is that for everything to justify, they say it's a cost. So rather than trying to justify that I am unable to do this, I'm compromising on this because of cost, can the mindset change that it's a value for money? I think that's something which will change the total complexion of the industry, of the healthcare sector, and ensure sustainable healthcare for the future. It's more a value-added service rather than anything. Whether it's an hospital, whether it's a pharma industry, whether it's an retail chain outlets, whatever it is, the total healthcare gamut needs to think about that what is it. Like for example, in the pharmaceutical world, we kept on saying that India is the pharmacy of the world. But how long will we continue with the being the pharmacy of the world? We now need to be the pharmaceutical of the world, which means it's research and development and innovation. And the other thing, Manoj, where I slightly differ is what about the innovation part of it? I think innovation does not mean only research and development of a molecule or a new treatment approach which is there. I think innovation for many of the generic companies may be in terms of packaging. Can we address that in the industry on the packaging side, and ensuring that we have packaging which can suit all demographic range as such? That's one thing. The second is, during the time of COVID, we also learned about repurposing of drugs. And that's, I think, another innovation which we can touch upon. So innovation can be there even with the generics, but we need to have a mindset that yes, we will do something different. So that's there. I would request Manoj, you also to touch upon the green building, energy saving technology, and pollution control factors.
Actually, this is not kind of related, or I will say I am not fully conversant with the terms. But yes, being in pharma industry, we have to manage our waste as well. So, and we have to control the pollution in any way. And as the earlier panel was discussing about the HVAC system and all. So for us, there are couple of primary objective, like towards the safety. First thing, to control contamination. Second is the control cross-contamination. Because contamination is from anywhere. But when we talk about cross-contamination, is mixing of two APIs in one product. So that is something called as cross-contamination. And third part is a mix-up of the products. So when we deal in pharma industry about it, and when we have potent molecules, so we have to monitor our discharges also, and that is through the water waste or liquid, or whatever we are sending out through the HVAC system. So for that, we definitely have certain measures. We have cleaning validations as we do to control the residues of the particular API from one to another product. We have AI-based inspection systems to control the mix-ups and whatever pollutants we are releasing into the environment. So we test those also for the, as per the Pollution Control Board's norms for the zero emission level. That is what I can contribute to this question.
No, thanks.
Thank you.
Neeraj, would you like to touch upon it?
So actually this is not my subject, but I know in terms of procuring the raw material, if one can be a little more greener in approach, that would help. So you have to fine tune your process and system designs, which can be helpful, and also it requires some bit of manpower planning so that they become conversant and helpful in taking this forward. Only this much I can contribute.
Okay. I think this is extremely important on the part of the pharma industry whenever they're into the innovation or drug development processes or any such things, is to be aware of the environment, and therefore it's imperative on the industry to contribute towards a sustainable healthcare, like it was mentioned with an example of a smoker, the first hand, the second hand, and the third hand smoker. I think it's similar in the pharma industry. I mean, we need to sensitize the industry that in the process of research and development and in the process of delivering newer therapies, one needs to address certain issues of being more environmental friendly. I think that's something which is extremely essential. So if we have time, we can invite the audience for some questions. As such, if you have maybe one or two questions.
Only one thing which I want to tell you, this is more of a philosophical side. Today evening when you go back, check in your homes how much of medicine is available in different corners and how much is going to expire. Okay. Now when we say repurpose, which sir spoke about, I think that's one thing which companies are trying to do. But if we are not aware of it, I think then it's a bad starting point. So please do that and see that the medicines we buy are being used and not just thrown over a period of time. Thank you.
Just to add, this is my practice being a pharmacist. So whenever I purchase medicine and if I have to use it, I always keep the printing, that is the batch number, manufacturing and expiry, always safe. And I start from the other side of the pack where these printing part is intact. So that if I am not going to use the medicine in a longer time, then I can at least give it to somebody else, because there are, I think, organizations outside, they collect such medicines and they can either repurpose or reuse it. So that's my individual practice. Just wanted to share. Thank you.
One more quick thing which I wanted to say, and which is very interesting. So Indians, typically all of us have this habit. We don't take antibiotics the full course. We just take for 2 days. When we are good, we are. So in my previous companies in Glenmark, we ran almost for 2 years one campaign where we tried to educate people that please use antibiotics to the full course. I think sustainability also has to do with that. If you are going to take full course, the chances are that people will fall sick less, and therefore it will bring sustainability there as well.
No, thanks for the comments. Yeah.
So the thing is that any medicine, the raw material of it will have a potency to the extent of 98 to 99%. The good medicines from better companies, because salt has a variability. He can tell you as a QA/QC expert much better, but I'm just telling you, it starts degrading from 98, 99%, slowly it up to 90 to 93%. For all the companies which do not apply safety standards and best practices, they start only with 90 to 93%. So if a day after also you want to take that medicine, please don't do. But for a good company medicine, it will start degrading, and in 3 months' time that is also going to be over. So one has to be very cautious of the fact. Yeah.
the medicine, the strips are 15 or 20, and the antibiotics that we take is hardly for 3 days or 5 days. 5 days. So I think they should reduce. We will not waste it.
Yeah,
You're right, and that's where I mentioned when I was talking, and I said that the industry also needs to look into the packaging. So packaging is not only the outer carton or the inner, the strips or whatever. It has to be more patient friendly. It has to be more disease related to the disease and the course of therapy. So overall, it needs to be more holistic. You are absolutely right on it.
So I have analyzed it. It is linked to the course. So the antibiotic, say 5-day course. So invariably, in case your problem doesn't get solved, I have seen the doctor saying take another 5 days. So that is how it's 10 days. I have seen medicines that have been taken daily. They'll have a 14 cup pack. So so that is how I have analyzed at least.
so just to answer that, I will address both the questions, but I will address the first question here because by law we have certain pack profiles given by the D&C Act. So we have to follow those particular profiles by law. Second part, innovation is part of it, but when you see a blister, so in a blister, a tablet has to be secured in a pocket using some foils, okay? And to secure that particular tablet, there should be some space available in between the tablets so that the sealing is proper and the tablet is secured and maintain its own character till the end of the shelf life, that is the expiry. So that's why many a times you will see that the packs are bigger based on the degradation pattern or whatever the product profile is. But you may see some smaller pack as well. So that's the answer. I hope so that I answered your question. The second part is about expiry. So as he rightly spoke that the potency is one part. But after a period, though the potency is low, the drug will still work. Then why should not I take it? That's mainly because of the impurities. So earlier we were talking about purity. Now this is the era where we are speaking more about impurities. Because now the scientists have seen or shown that the impurities are more deadly or dangerous than the actual drug. So many a times, like paracetamol, if you have fever and if you consume a drug which is expired, still it is not going to make any harm. It may reduce the fever, may not be at that extent it will work. But the impurities which are generated during the course of that particular time point, that may harm you. So it's not safe to go beyond the expiry many a times. And second part to it is the environment where they store the drug. So many a times it is not as recommended by the company who is producing it. So keeping all the factors in mind, I will advise not to go beyond the expiry. But you have any extreme case that you have fever and you have a paracetamol, you can always consume it beyond expiry even in that particular case.
Yeah.
Not otherwise.
Right.
I
Thanks
can-
for throwing light. I think the science there that we should.
Just I'm a clinician here, so I just wanted to ensure, ma'am's question. I mean, you have to give the full course because otherwise, if you give, let's say, amoxicillin, just give 6 tablets, it's not going to work. They'll just take it for 2 days and stop it, and you'll have antibiotic resistance. So the course of the antibiotic has to be given like Augmentin. Augmentin Duo now it comes in strips of 4s or 10s.
10. It comes in as strip of
Initially
10.
it is to come in 4s and 6s. Now they've made it 10, and rightfully so. Like you're with JB Pharma, I'm so glad that as a clinician I've prescribed a lot of your Metrogyl. Metrogyl is your product, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, because we trust that. Because now hearing you so eloquently about quality, I even feel more happy to have prescribed so much of Metrogyl. So what I'm trying to tell you is that this is very important, even that distance between the two tablets. Indian the chemist shops are the only ones I've found actually where they cut and give you, which is very dangerous because if you don't cut it properly, you're going to actually compromise the tablet which has got, that little bit of air can go in and spoil the entire medication. So it's so important that packaging is so very important. Because we as clinicians only want to see the end result, as you were speaking about your interaction with the FDA person, about the quality, the various types of quality. So it's important.
Thanks for your comments as such. So we come to an end of this panel discussion. Thank you, the panelists, for really throwing light on it. And I think we would conclude by saying that it's time for the industry to wake up, be compliant, be patient-centric, and look at long-term sustainable healthcare. So that's how I would like to conclude the panel discussion. Thank you.